Yeah, this is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go!
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
On the show today, we had cricketing legend Ricky Ponting.
And then off that, we talk about like full-on needle situations because Ricky had two.
That'll shock you.
Having one's enough. Earlier this morning, we spoke about unbelievable COVID situations where it's unbelievable you haven't gotten it yet, and also unbelievably you've had it more than once.
And inspired by J-Lo and Ben Affleck getting hitched in Vegas, we talk to other people that tied the knot in Las Vegas.
We find a little bit about Averley with our friend Megan, and also Sean is away for the week.
Yeah, COVID protocols.
So we've asked people to slide into our DMs and nominate themselves as the guest sports reporter. Carly crushed it this morning.
She did. She was so good. She talked about several sports in detail.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
That's right. Bennifer 2.0, everybody.
That's right.
J-Lo and Ben Affleck got married.
Viva!
And they did it in Vegas. It's amazing. They went to the Little White Wedding Chapel.
Which is one of the classics.
Very famous. So the other people that have been married here, as Sinead O'Connor and her partner, Britney Spears, Michelle Gellar, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, Michael Jordan and his partner in 1989, Eva Longoria and his partner in 2002, Pamela Anderson, her partner, Pamela Anderson and Rick Solomon in 2007, and Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner.
Yeah. I think also Frank Sinatra has been married there before as well. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, but what I really love about this, think about all the money that those two have combined, right? So they've rocked up to Vegas. She's worn a dress that was from a movie that she'd been in.
Gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then she had another one as well that she'd been saving for a while, so she can go out and buy anything new. They went to the wedding chapel. Ben Affleck got changed in the toilets there, and he did a selfie video of himself, and the mirror's all graffitied, when people scratch their names into the mirror. So it just looks dodgy AF. He just wore a white suit jacket that he had in his cupboard.
That he had anyway. Yeah.
Yep. Now, they went out and they got some photos with the pink convertible that was once used by Elvis himself. But the best thing is they chose not to pay the extra fee to have Elvis there marry them because it was late and Elvis was in bed. They could have done it, but they chose to save
Elvis
a bit
needs
of
his
money.
sleep.
They chose
No, but maybe they just thought, I'll let him sleep. That's not important to whether we get married or not. We just let him. He has a busy time, that Elvis.
I tell you.
Marrying people all day.
Must be a real experience having one of those Vegas weddings.
Yeah, I know.
We had a producer that used to work for us here,
This is
Greg.
an extraordinary tale.
So Greg is a proud gay man with Michael.
Yes.
They've been together for a very long
Forever.
time. So their relationship is going along swimmingly. And while Greg was producing our show, he got contacted by a friend of his that
Wasn't even a friend. It was somebody that he'd been on a Kentucky tour with, and they went to Vegas.
and they got married at one of these chapels.
Yes, as a joke. So the tour guide said on the bus, I need 2 volunteers to get married, and then we'll annul it straight away. And so Greg put his hand up, and this girl put her hand up. They got married.
Now,
she was from Sydney. And then they filled in the forms.
Yep, it didn't get annulled.
That's right. The guy forgot to put the forms in.
So the reason why she was contacting Greg is because she needed to get a divorce from Greg in order to get married to her partner.
For real.
So she had to divorce a gay man.
This was 10
married to her
years
partner.
down the track. 10 years. Greg gets a letter saying, I need a divorce. He's like, what? He discovered he'd had a female wife for 10 years.
And really, by law, she could take him for half.
Yeah. Or he could have taken her for half. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That would have been half.
It was an amicable...
half of his Doctor Who paraphernalia.
It was an amicable split, safe to say, and she went on to marry the actual love of her life.
Travel stress can take a hike.
With lots of fully refundable hotels, whatif.com has got you covered.
Just remember, booking cancellation windows apply.
So go on, relax and book your next trip with confidence at whatif.com.
What if? It's Aussie for travel.
It's a beautiful love story. 20 years after they first got engaged, J-Lo and Ben Affleck tied the knot in a Vegas wedding.
Just love it. And they spent like $7 by the sounds of it. We've always been intrigued by Vegas weddings. We want to speak to people that have actually gone through with one. Cassie's in Rolling Stone. Hi, Cassie.
Hi.
Hi, Cassie.
Cass, did you get hitched in Vegas?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
All right, talk us through it.
Okay, so we've been together 37 years. We've never got married before.
You rushed into it.
No
Well,
way.
world's longest engagement. So about 7 years ago, we're in Vegas, and he just bumped me with his elbow and said, "Should we get married?" That was as romantic as it got.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, why not? We're here. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, we got the $500 package, which gets you a stretch limo, comes to your hotel to pick you up, took us to the Graceland Chapel.
Oh,
we got married by Elvis.
Oh.
Lovely.
Oh, we had to go and get our marriage certificate first at the county court.
Yes.
And you've got to fill it in pencil. You don't use a pen. You have to fill
Don't
it
you
in
feel like
pencil.
if you're filling out a marriage certificate, it should be in ink? It
Yeah,
should be a
you
bit more
think
of
that.
a permanent stationary item.
Yeah, so you get the $60 certificate, and then the big day, go out and get your hair done, and they come pick you up. Takes all of about 5 minutes to get married.
Yeah.
It was Elvis, who was very fun, but he doesn't officiate it because he's not real. Then you have to get this very scary looking minister comes in and so he does the real thing and then it's done.
Who was your witness? Because you have to have a witness there, don't you? Who was that?
Elvis. Elvis was our witness.
So Elvis is. So Elvis is. So
Does he sign his name Elvis?
Yes. My husband wore a T-shirt tuck that we got from the world's largest gift shop.
What did you wear?
Very classy. Yeah. I wore a very sleazy leopard print shirt with the puppies pushed up.
Yeah. Beautiful.
With the big bouffant hair with a tiara.
Yeah. Nice.
We went for Vegas sleeves. It was our theme. And then, afterwards we were going around to all the different things and we saw beautiful brides done up in their gorgeous gowns and their men in their three-piece suits and everything. And they're all like, that's what I wanted to wear. Why wasn't I allowed to wear a T-shirt?
Yeah, nice.
So where did you go somewhere special for dinner, or you just like hit a buffet?
We went to the Stratosphere, the big tall one that's got
That's one with the roller coaster.
No, I didn't do the ride. Yeah.
So, of course, one of the most important things of a wedding day is the photo that is displayed in your house in a frame to show that you're married. Do you have one?
Yes.
Do you have one of these?
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's very, very weird. And the thing that sticks with me the most is the place smelled like a crematorium from all the years and years of dead flowers.
The place
smelled like a crematorium. That's a beautiful touch. Thank you, Cassie. Let's go to Sue in Ascot. Morning, Sue.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Oh,
Okay.
we're enjoying this, Sue.
No, talk us through your Vegas wedding.
Well, it was the end of 2012. I was planning a Vegas trip on my own, and one of my bucket list items was to get married by Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
And since I was on my own, it was going to be a bit difficult, so
course.
I set up a Twitter account
Yes.
called Marry Me Elvis and put my location as Vegas and just put on the profile that I was looking for someone who wanted to go through with a wedding, get married by Elvis, and I was paying for it all and that. And got a lot of inquiries. A lot of people just wanted the honeymoon. But ended up this... Actually, it's funny that last lady mentioned the Stratosphere.
Yes.
It was one of the Stratosphere croupiers.
Yes.
A black man.
Yes.
Contacted me, and he was all for the fun of it and everything like that.
Yes.
I met him 2 days before just to make sure I didn't hate his guts.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he went out and bought the T-shirt tux. And
adorable.
we got married at the Viva Las Vegas Chapel.
Yes.
And I live streamed it to my family and friends in Australia.
Yes.
They were freaked out.
So,
Totally freaked.
are you still married to the croupier from the Stratosphere?
Well, we never actually officially got it divorced, but we never got the legal document.
You want to check on that?
Have you got a fella in your life now?
No.
Right, okay.
No, and I'm actually going back to Vegas again this New Year's Eve. I might do it again with somebody else.
Oh, wait, maybe you just want to check in with your husband while you're there as
that's
well.
right.
Or
Maybe-
Oh,
sure.
never
Maybe you're
know.
still
Yeah,
married.
he might be wanting alimony or something.
Well, he might be loaded. You might be wanting the alimony.
Oh, my God.
So that's amazing.
I
I mean,
love this.
bold move. Like that, you'd think that would bring the creeps out.
I
to
thought
play.
at the end she was going to tell us that they've been together now for how many years and stuff, but I really would...
I mean,
really
that is
would-
a movie script,
I
really.
really would find out if that was actually not documented, that wedding.
Yeah, you
because
might want to double check.
that could turn out to be an issue.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
In honour of Bennifer getting hitched, and now she's saying that she is Jennifer Affleck.
Yep.
That doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
It's not too good, is it? I hope it's just for legal documentation. We are exploring the world of Vegas weddings. Mark is in Queen's Rock. Hey, Mark.
Good morning.
Hey, Mark. All right, Mark. You got hitched in Vegas, hey?
Yes, we did. September 1996.
Yes. Talk us through it. What happened?
First of all, like your previous caller said, you have to register first the day before.
Yeah.
So you can't just rock up drunk one night and say, oh, this is a good idea. You have to register the night before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So me and the now wife, but the still wife, we got married there. I remember it was very, very humid. And dressed in a suit, the wife's dressed in a suit. We did struggle. But yeah, it was very good. And afterwards, when we came out of the Little White Chapel, there's tourists and buses all doing the Vegas Strip and Little White Chapel, etc. They must have thought we were some sort of unknown superstars.
Yes.
So we had loads of pictures taken with these random people. I'll be in photo album somewhere.
Yes. Do you have that movie star look about you, Mark?
Absolutely not.
It's a great self-assessment.
They must have thought he was a pro wrestler or something.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
that.
MMA fighter.
Yeah, or the Vegas is riddled with magicians. Do you have a magician vibe about you, Mark, at all?
That's a beautiful tale. Thank you. Shelley's in Mullaloo. Morning, Shell.
Good morning.
Hi, Shell.
Okay, talk to us about Vegas weddings.
Well, I married an American serviceman in 1986, and we got married in the Little White Chapel.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have any money. Nobody knew we were getting married, so we literally we paid $25 for the ceremony.
Oh.
We couldn't afford to do it inside the chapel itself, so we had to do it outside with the minister. We had AstroTurf and flashing fairy lights.
Okay. Yes.
And the idea is that you give the minister a donation in an envelope after the ceremony just to make him feel better.
Yes.
We didn't have any money, so we gave him an empty envelope.
Oh! No. You gave him an envelope. You didn't give him an envelope he could use.
So you handed the envelope and he's never seen a bride and groom run for their lives as quick as you two took off.
We also had no any witnesses, so the receptionist had to be our witness.
Yes.
And so we just simply took $200 that we had and went to the casino, and my husband went on the blackjack and I went on the one-armed bandits, and I won some money, enough to go and see a Vegas show.
Yeah.
And ultimately the marriage lasted 6 years, but just after the wedding we had to stay in Barrett because my husband was stationed in Boston.
Yes.
We couldn't afford anywhere to stay, so I was sharing his bunk bed in a shared barracks room.
That was your honeymoon?
That was my honeymoon.
Super romantic, Shelley.
Yeah, great fun. And my mother found out, she was still in England. She didn't know we were getting married.
No.
So she heard that I was sharing this barracks room, and so she wrote a letter, which I didn't know about, to President Reagan.
Him to intervene.
Yes.
Yeah, it was sent to the White House, and it actually got trickled down through the whole military to my husband's base commander.
So she wanted Reagan to step in and
separate you because she didn't know you were married.
No, well, she felt that if we had got married and he was in the British Air Force, then we would have been given housing.
Okay.
And so she was kind of disgusted. So she vented, and he got pulled up for a 5-year probation with the military because
your mum wrote to Ronald Reagan about
and then after that probation was over, you got divorced.
Well, we lasted the 6 years, but and then the divorce was from Alabama, and it only cost us $100 to get divorced.
You know what?
Your divorce was more expensive than your wedding, though.
It's amazing. Can I just go back to a few things, right? So firstly,
so many things.
Yeah, so many things. What was the show that you went, the Vegas show you went and saw after your wedding? What was that one?
Do you know, I can't remember. It was so long ago. It wasn't anybody big.
So it was like a singer or a magician-y thing. Singer?
I think there was a few, long-legged dancers.
Sure.
Okay. So feathers and stuff like that. Secondly, you said you had no money to give to the minister, but yet you had $200 to spend at the casino after the wedding.
Yeah, well, we wanted to get our priorities right.
A few holes in this story, Shelley. You've upset God, and no wonder you didn't win anything.
You weren't working with a handful of karma there, were you?
Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
Well, it's all happening here in the studio, everybody. That's right. It started last week with the bin chicken, aka Tim Collins. He got the spicy cough.
Indeed.
Then Sean McManus announced to us after we worked with him for a couple of hours throughout the morning, and he waited until Jeremy McGovern was in the studio as well, where Sean announced that he feels like he might have the spicy cough.
Well, he didn't think he did because he reckons we're all jumping at shadows.
Yes.
He just thought he was a little unwell and sounded super croaky, and we're like, maybe you should take a rat test. Oh, you're all jumping at shadows, he said.
Yeah.
Tested positive Sunday.
That's right. Yesterday, we're all just minding our own businesses at our house. Natalie was obviously cooking salmon. I was turning my tap on and off.
What were you doing,
I got
Ellie?
a new tap, by the way.
Ellie was
Don't know if I
rearranging
told
her display towels.
Ellie hanging towels over her oven door handle. Like we're back in the 90s. And we got a message from our producer, Amy. And guess what, everyone?
Yep, she's got it. She's positive too.
That's right. She's got it.
Ellie, you're desperate to get it.
You have never wanted anything more in your life.
I've changed my mind now.
Oh,
Now that it's here
too little,
and it's,
too late.
it's coming for us all, I changed my mind.
Yeah. So Ellie's been to get a PCR test more times than she's been to Woolworths to pick up bread.
That is not true. You're coming for me about testing. I've had a couple.
She has her own lane at the drive-through PCR. Like Ellie's here.
do not.
Ellie's here. Hold up,
do not.
Ellie. Come on through. VOP lane.
Have you had a PCR yet?
Oh, no.
You've not had a PCR yet?
No, I haven't.
Have you, Natalie?
Yeah, I've had a couple.
Yeah. Not as many as you, though.
That's
Excuse me, you say you've had 2. It's like those people that go, I've only had 3 bits of pizza when they've had 6. You've got to double it and times it by 10 with you. How many rat tests do you have? Answer honestly. You've lost count?
How many have I had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to test to go in to visit my grandparents in the nursing home, so does
Yes.
that count?
Yeah, and also just the ones you do on just
No.
every
Just for
day.
fun.
No,
Just every day.
I
Did
do
you-
to make
Just
sure
hopefully.
that I'm not
How many have you had,
exposing
do you reckon?
I don't know. 30? It's been 2 years.
Vigilance is good.
It is. Vigilance. Good.
It's been 2 years, but we've only had rat tests in the States since the beginning of the year. But okay.
Anyway, the unbelievable thing is that our team here, we work in the most unventilated room
Yes.
in the world, and then also in our office as well, where we do our prep for our show and do our after show meetings. There's not a window near it. We're
No.
an office in internal, like
Yes.
no ventilation at all. And it's unbelievable that we haven't had it.
No, although I've got a bit of a tickle in my throat this morning.
Do you?
I've tested negative though.
Yeah.
I did do a rat test this morning.
Yeah.
God.
Ali's got some good PCR places you can go to. Which
Mention-
one's
mention
your
my name.
favourite?
Which is
Yeah,
your
which one's your
favourite?
favourite? She
Discount
knows the
code.
bouncer. She'll get you through.
Which one's your favourite?
Midland Hospital's pretty good.
They're late night, aren't they? You know they're
And
late at
what
night.
you like about it is I know you by name. It's like oh, here's your favourite
Ellie's in the
Ellie.
house.
Two.
Ellie.
I've had two.
So I think it's unbelievable that we haven't had it yet. And even like people that are in a household where every single member of their
Yes.
family has had it and they haven't got it as well.
Well, that's the amazing thing about
It just
Amy. So
baffles
Amy's
me.
husband had it.
Yes.
And they basically didn't, he slept in a different room just because he was coughing, but he wasn't isolated within
No.
the house. The kids didn't get it. Amy didn't get it.
Yeah.
And now Amy catches it from Sean.
Yeah.
That's suspicious.
And then I want to do, on the other side, the fact that we haven't had it yet. If you've heard those people that have had it more than once now?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, a friend of mine.
What?
Twice in 26 days.
Twice in 26 days?
Twice in 26 days.
What is it, a girl or a guy?
It's a girl.
What's she doing?
I don't know.
What's she doing?
I don't know what the answer
Can she
to that
tell Ellie?
is.
Ellie will book a 2-night stay there.
Yo, Kerry, what's your secret?
No.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Yeah, this week it's happened. COVID has hit our team.
I know. It's ravaged us.
Yeah.
We're like day one of when this whole thing happened here.
Yeah.
There are people in hazmat suits walking around. Bin
Just
Chicken
spraying
got it.
random stuff.
Sean's got it. Amy, our producer's got it. Natalie and I. Force field. There is a force. Natalie, by the way, this is a wooden pole. Touch wood. That's from the
Okay,
Flex
sure.
game. Touch wood.
Touch wood.
Touch wood.
I'm holding wood right now.
Well, me too. It's been a while. We haven't had it yet. And we think it's unbelievable because of his ventilation in this room is
That's right. And I mean, Sean sits between us about, what's that, 75 centimetres
We're the bread
away
in a COVID sandwich.
At all, and when that man sneezes...
Oh, jeez, mate. That's the Fremantle doctor. That's actually, they've found out what it was, and that's what it is.
Ash is in Byford. Morning, Ash.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
Good,
Ash,
buddy.
mate.
Okay. Now talk to us about COVID. How has it impacted your life, or have you managed to escape it?
No, I caught it twice in 4 weeks back when the WA government was saying that you couldn't get it in twice in 8 weeks.
Yeah, right. Bugger.
Well, that's like
You
an
overachiever.
achievement. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and the second time was a hell of a lot worse than the first time with hospitalisation.
Far out.
No,
Ash.
Ash.
Because you would think that the first one would give you a little bit of immunity, but it was the opposite.
Complete opposite.
Oh, no.
Ash,
this is bad news.
I've not spoken to anyone that has been hospitalised with COVID. So what happened? How was it?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Ended up getting the ambulance to the house as the wife found me on the floor.
What?
And ended up getting about 70 mil drained off my lung.
Oh! And Ellie wants it, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Hey, Ash, was it hard convincing people that you had it again because the government said you couldn't?
Yeah, 100%.
Because your workplace would think you're a liar.
Yeah, that's right. Or that you lied about the first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, they have changed that advice. They're now saying 4 weeks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were right, Ash.
All right. So, Ash, are you terrified of getting it again, and what are you doing?
Look, if I get it again, I get it again. Hopefully it's not as bad as the second one.
Or it's worse?
No need to say that.
Nathan, you're a monster.
Oh, well, I mean, history suggests.
Thank you, Ash. Stay safe. Don't go near Sean is my advice. Debbie's in Heathridge. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, good,
Okay,
Deb.
talk to us. What's been your experience, Deb?
I was the first in WA to contract it back in March 2020.
Get out of town.
What do you mean, the actual
you,
first?
You leader. So your case won.
Yes, I was case one.
Oh, my God, what an honour.
Yesterday, Lockie from The Bachelor. Now, case number one.
Case number one of WA's COVID outbreak. Wow, tell us everything. You must have felt so,
Cutting edge.
Yeah, cutting edge and a leader.
It was pretty scary. We'd been to the UK, and I'd obviously caught it either through transit or in the UK. Got back within 2 days in hospital.
Oh, so you were hospitalised as well.
Yeah.
So
It
what's
was pretty
amazing,
scary.
right, is that now anybody reading any of the statistics about COVID, you're one in bloody hundreds of thousands of people or whatever, you were reading in the paper and it was all about you and singularly you, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously it was the outbreak, you were hearing about it, obviously all in the UK then. It was pretty new to Australia at the point. But it was, and I think sort of for the medical services, it was all very new as well. They weren't really sure how to deal with it or what to do. They'd obviously done their prep. But being the first, it was slightly chaotic and a bit scary.
And of course, everybody had to isolate for 2 weeks back then. So everybody in your family, in your household, yeah?
But my partner, he didn't get it at all, and nor did anybody I have in connection in the UK with. I didn't transmit it to anybody.
That's unbelievable. Just speak to the first WA
I know.
case.
And this is back when there was contact tracing, which, is not a thing anymore. So they were, you were being quizzed about everybody that you'd spoken to and had any interaction with at every place you'd been?
Yeah, they contacted literally everybody. We did obviously isolate when we came back because we were told, obviously, we had to do the 2 weeks directly we landed. So we were lucky as friends that obviously did our shopping and brought that round for us because we couldn't go out.
Yeah.
And the police came around to check that obviously I hadn't gone out, but I was in hospital at that point.
The police would come around to
remember
check.
that when the police came to check on people?
Oh, my God. Were you frightened that your identity was going to come out? Because back then, I mean, people were freaking out.
It was, I must admit, 'cause obviously my partner called an ambulance, so I was pretty bad because I just collapsed in the shower.
Yeah.
And sort of the neighbours were out taking pictures, and obviously we hadn't really spoken to them, they didn't know. But it was a bit scary for everybody. Then,
I can imagine.
Calm down now.
He needed to have poured a bottle of sauce over you as you're wheeled out to the to the ambo, so they thought it wasn't COVID related. She's
just bleeding a lot.
It's just a head injury. Wow.
It's weird though.
Thank
Because I've been
you.
part of the trials, the Oxford trials.
Yes.
And they were saying to me last week that only, I think they had 187 from the first arm that they're still obviously putting trials through. And only 3 of us have contracted it out of that 187 again.
Wow. That's amazing.
Unbelievable
So having it the
stuff.
first time with some sort of protection, whereas poor Ash got it twice in 4 weeks.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
No Shorty Mac, of course.
And as you know, Sean's
COVID
away.
protocols.
And Sean's sports segments, they're sponsored.
Yeah, so we have to do them.
And we love our sponsors and we want to do well by them. So instead of us racking our brains thinking of how we can fill them, we put the call out yesterday because we know a lot of people are driving around or at home in the morning and they go, you know what? I could do Sean's sport.
Yep.
So
Well, we've got a contender.
we do.
Play the opener.
Carly Sports. AFL. Carly Sports. Cricket. Carly Sports. Soccer. Tennis. Egg and spoon racing. Carly Sports.
Welcome to the sporting reporting world. Carly from Lansdale. Good morning, Carly.
Good morning, guys.
Carly, very excited to have you. We'd like to know a little bit about you first, of course, because you're the newest member of the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Carly, what does one Carly do for a living?
I am actually, my fancy title is high growth culture. Pretty much I'm a training person, so I actually work for Baker Cheese. In a national role, yeah. So I'm based here in Perth, though.
Amazing.
Nice.
The cheese queen.
Yeah,
All right.
well, Sean's sports reports are usually cheesy, so
Yes.
this is
Tick.
right
So
on
I'm right in the pocket
the money. Do we have any sporting background, Carly?
Look, I did have a fairly prestigious social netball career.
Yes.
No real injuries to speak of, so no knocks to the head.
Okay, so you're
at the
ahead of
moment, I
Sean.
can still form a sense. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can remember your PIN number.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably a little bit of a stretch, but yeah, no, not too bad. Otherwise, the only real injury was a broken finger, and that was courtesy of one of my teammates. So that was probably the only real injury in my career. I'm a huge AFL nuffy. I'm a mad West Coast Eagles supporter.
Good girl.
So I'm a little bit depressed this year, but that's okay.
It is what it is. We'll bounce back.
You know what? She sounds like a machine.
Exactly.
I know.
She's got access to a lot of cheese.
Yes.
We're on board. Carly, take it away. What's happening in the world of sport?
Well, look, first I thought I'd do a bit of a wrap-up or a bit more congratulations to Cam Smith.
Oh, mate.
Obviously, his win at St Andrews in the British Open was extraordinary for any golfer, but particularly because he's got such a spectacular mullet, and well, it's a pretty dodgy mow, but the combo actually worked for him. So I feel like that got him over the line.
The mow is a bit predatory, isn't it? But yet his general attitude and his mullet, and then he
eclipses the mow.
His dad on the news talking about him as well. I mean, it's just he's a really great representation of old school Australia, which I love.
Yeah, 100%. Look, a few little bits and pieces which you might not have heard in all the news stories is his putting stroke has actually been labelled one of the finest on the professional circuit.
Oh, really?
And the remarkable run of 5 consecutive birdies between the 10th and 14th hole was what actually turned the tournament for him. So, and apparently that is a pretty big deal, but also his back 9 was actually the lowest over the closing 9 holes in Open history.
Yeah.
So
that's 150 years of
he's got
history.
the mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usually
so,
men are only impressed by saying they've got an impressive front 9, so that's pretty exciting. Hey, did you see he was asked in the press conference about his
the live tour,
tour, and all the reporters are saying he didn't deny it.
No, he just said, "Don't ask me that. I've just won the British Open."
Yeah.
Yeah, a little. He's probably left it open a little bit for a bit more talk about it. But look, it is what it is.
Go where the money is.
I guess. Yeah, well, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
well, that's
exactly.
some Karen Smith. What else you got for us?
Well, I've actually got a little bit of a rundown on the Tour de France as well.
Oh, yes, please.
for those who don't know too much about it, and to be honest, I've only sort of watched a little bit because, my husband's interested in watching it. I love the scenery.
Yep.
So if you don't know what the Tour de France is, it's basically a bunch of guys in Lycra. They're cycling through some spectacular scenery in France.
Yeah.
So they're actually coming off a rest day from yesterday. The riders are actually heading into stage 16, which is Carcassonne into Foix.
Oh.
And yes, I did look up the pronunciation today, so I didn't insult anybody.
Well, you're well ahead of Sean again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
This is research. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this particular stage is actually classified as a hilly stage, and I don't know how technical hilly is, but basically
It's hilly, not
the incline-
mountainous. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So the inclines fluctuate between about 5 and 8 degrees over the course of the ride.
Yes.
The distance is about, and this just absolutely floored me, 178.5 k's.
That's an average day.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
and
amazing,
that's average,
isn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you take that into account of our ride around the bridges,
Yes.
which is about 10.5 k's, you can do that 17 times. But also, the temperatures in France at the moment are around 40 degrees. So you're looking at cycling 17 laps of rides around the bridges in our peak
Full
summer
tilt, but
temperatures.
with more hills.
That's disgusting.
Exactly.
If I just did one lap around our river, I'd feel like I was a champion. Instead of doing 17.
Yeah, I mean, I broke into a sweat just reading what they're going to be doing. So that's just amazing as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
So to wrap it up, and I'll stay with me, Nathan, because I know footy's not your thing.
Okay, so I'm here for you.
So we are heading into the back end of the AFL season. The Eagles won't be there, but that's totally cool.
Yeah.
We're looking at the top 8 at the moment, and Fremantle have had a little bit of a hiccup over the weekend, so they do need to really sort of knuckle down in the next couple of weeks to make sure that they actually stay in that top 4. As I said, the loss to Sydney has put the top 4 in jeopardy, but they're hanging on. But Carlton, Collingwood and Swans are right on their tail. So what they need to focus on is the next couple of weeks. They will travel to Marvel twice against Richmond and the Bulldogs.
Okay.
Look, the upside for this week, it is a Friday night game, so, early on in the week.
Yeah.
Also, Dusty Martin, Tom Lynch, they're not going to be there.
What?
The other bonus?
Yeah.
The Richmond team probably won't turn up either because they don't actually know where Marvel is.
That's a great point. That's a solid point.
Exactly.
They'll all be over at the
numbers-
G going, what's happening? Where is everyone?
Exactly. The crowd numbers might be a little bit down as well because obviously Richmond supporters, again, don't really know where Marvel is.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Carly, do you think do you reckon flag mantle's going to happen? Do you think Freo's got the goods?
Look, I've watched them fairly closely. I think if they're at their peak on the day, they're an absolute chance. They probably need to get out of their heads a little bit and not get too carried away with it.
Did you see that Matthew Pavlich came out yesterday and said that he thinks that Freo is going to finish 5th?
Yeah, that they're stumbling towards the end of the season.
I think they'll get a home final here at Optus. I think Richmond will finish 8th, so it'll be it'll be a Dockers Tigers elimination final. Richmond and Melbourne and the Bulldogs are all tough. I think they will beat West Coast and GWS. I have got them as 3 of 5. I think they'll end up with 15 wins.
Yeah, look, that's their stumbling blocks at the moment. They really need to get back into that real mindset of just playing the game and not getting too caught up in what else is going on around them and everybody else sort of jumping on the bandwagon. I think if they get back to their peak, 100%, they're a real chance.
No,
hey, Carly, that was insightful.
That was Carly's sport.
Knowledgeable. It's everything Sean's sport wasn't.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean. They're hitting the road and coming to a suburb near you.
That's how we roll. Yeah.
It's Nathan, Nat and Sean's show from your suburb for Pentanet.
Oh, we're so sick of doing the show from the studio.
Well, we need to bloody crack a window. People get getting COVID. We're taking our show to the streets of Perth because Perth is amazing. Thanks to our mates at Pentanet.
We want to be broadcasting from, say, your suburb, your street, maybe.
Yeah. Your house.
Your shed.
Yeah, your tree house.
Your workplace.
Yeah.
Could be anything. You just have to tempt
your
us
social
to your
group,
world.
your scrapbooking group. Scrapbooking group still happen? People still scrapbook? Remember what was a thing?
Yeah, I remember it was a thing.
Yeah.
Could still be a thing.
Yeah. You can jump online to the Nova Win page or on the Nova Player app to register your suburb and just tell us why we need to come and see you and what amazing thing is the reason.
Now, Megan from Averley did just that. Good morning, Megan.
Hello, how are you?
Hi,
Great, Megs.
Megan.
All right. What do you have to tempt us into your neck of the woods?
Right, so I'm in Averley. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of us, but we are the prettier sibling next door to Ellenbrook.
Sure.
Oh, because all I hear about is Ellenbrook, the rail service. Ellenbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's next door, a stone throws away. Sorry, down the road here from us in Averley, we're nestled on the edge of the Swan Valley.
Nestled?
So we've got
Lovely.
Yes, beautiful upcoming suburb.
Yes.
We have got some wineries, just a little bike ride away. So if you want to go for a weekend beverage, get on your bike.
Yeah.
And we have something incredible. We have some local pets.
Local pets.
Yes, we have wild peacocks roaming the streets.
You have peacocks just walking around while you're doing your stuff.
Dead set. I wake up in the morning, opened up my blinds, and there's a peacock sitting in the garden.
So
and
they
then
don't.
a peacock opens up their blinds.
So they don't belong to anybody. They just roam the streets.
No, but there's a bit of a history to it, right?
Oh, yes, please.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of this little small business called Multiplex.
Yes.
No.
It's quite a large
Up and
business,
coming,
actually.
is it?
Yes.
Okay.
One day they'll make
Pretty well
something
known.
of themselves.
Okay,
yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy that ran that business, owned it back in the beginning, John Roberts, right?
Yes.
He used to have a property out here in West Swan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the rumour is that these birds are descendants of peacocks he had on that property.
Oh, I see. And so the property's been sold off and subdivided and turned into Averley.
And the peacocks weren't rehomed, so the peacocks just went into the bush and did a whole lot of peacocking, and now there is the multiple generational peacock offspring walking around. Is that what we're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. But also on this property, he had 2 of the Galapagos tortoises.
Yes.
Sorry. The ones at the zoo.
That live
used to belong
forever?
to him. Yeah.
Oh, so he donated them to the zoo and they're at the zoo.
Absolutely. That's right.
So
Do you think we might see a tortoise while we're in Averley? Do you reckon there might have been a third or a fourth that he forgot about like he did with the peacocks?
I don't know. We can only hope.
Imagine
That'd
if we
be
were doing
exciting.
this show and then a tortoise, ever so slowly,
runs.
comes towards us with a peacock riding it.
I mean,
Could you
Wouldn't
think
that
of
be amazing?
nothing more spectacular?
if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in Averley, I would
That's
suggest.
correct. That's
That
correct.
would
Wow.
be better than the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
take
slower
longer. Take
than
longer.
the Melbourne Cup.
Wow. All right. Well,
But Natalie, what?
I reckon you would have to bring the bin chicken
Oh.
to have a standoff with the peacocks.
you might be right.
Like maybe like a fight situation because everyone would always want to know who would win a fight between a peacock and a bin chicken.
It's a great point.
Absolutely.
Could we do the show with that sound in it all morning?
We're doing it right now.
Rather annoying, isn't it?
Megan, would you ensure that we were surrounded by peacocks? Would you and the community corral them together so they're in our spot? Because if we were there and we had a peacockless show, that would
Yes.
be very it would be very dissatisfying.
Well, you'd have to do a drive-by of my house, right? Because my
Yeah.
next-door neighbour, she feeds them.
She feeds them. Okay.
Then we
So
just
I wake up in the morning, open up my garage door, and there's 3 or 4 peacocks sitting out the front.
Awesome.
What do you feed them?
She feeds them like bird seed. I don't know, just stuff from the shop, I guess.
That makes sense.
I didn't know if it was the peacock's favourite
They'd be like
food.
probably chook pellets, that sort of thing. They'd eat those, I
Well,
imagine.
they're not, they're peacocks.
Yeah.
I know, but
Why would they eat chook pellets? Pick up a book, Natalie.
pick up a peacock book. Are there any peahens?
Yeah, they're the ugly ones.
No, we don't want
Three
them.
of them out
Nathan's
this
a
morning.
misogynist
No,
when it comes
sorry,
to
in the
peacocks.
peacock world I am. If you haven't got pretty feathers, you can F off. All right.
All right, Megan, we'll consider your entry.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Ricky Ponting.
Oh, brilliant shot.
The captain of Australia.
And Ponting's delivered.
Come on, Kelly, the Vina.
Oh, that's the best of Ricky Ponting.
Sure, this might be a sports segment, and we do have a former cricketing great, but we're here to talk about wine. Good morning, Ricky Ponting.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hello, Ricky Ponting. I feel like this interview should be conducted with a fancy voice. I've just been reading the history of Ponting wines. Fancy little bugger, aren't you?
Actually not. If you had asked me a couple of years ago if I would have had my name and a fair bit about me plastered all over the front of a wine bottle, I would have said that you were joking, because that's certainly not my upbringing. My upbringing in the northern parts of Tasmania was very much a beer and a barbecue sort of upbringing. But no, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a nice little venture now. 2.5 years we've been going with Ponting Wines. We've learned a lot about the industry. We've learned a lot about wine making and the growing of grapes. So it's been a nice little passion project for my wife and I to be involved in.
I am looked down upon in the wine world, Ricky, because I don't enjoy red wine. I want to, because I see people on a cold wintry day having a glass of red or having it for dinner, and it just tastes like crap to me. Are you a red wine drinker or a white wine drinker?
Mate, I'm going to have to get you some Ponting wines. You taste our red wines, and you're not going to say that. I'll guarantee.
Really?
You.
Like the close of play Cab Sav, for example.
Yeah, we'll make sure we've got some sent into your offices over the next couple of days, and bring me back and let me know what you think. Now, look, am I red wine or white wine? I think that my journey started out probably a bit like yours, as more of a white wine drinker, and my wife was probably the one that sort of introduced me to the wonderful world of wine, and she's more of a white wine drinker than a red wine drinker, but. The things that you brought up there about sitting around an open fire on a winter's night with a glass of red wine, in the stage of life that I'm at, there's not much better than doing that, that's for sure.
Mate, I've got a friend who loves red wine, and he errs towards buying $400 bottles or whatever, and I was around his house, I'm having dinner one night, and then he poured me a glass of it, and I said, don't I just sip? And I said, pour it back in the bottle.
Did you ask for some lemonade to be mixed in?
Pour it back in the bottle, because this is wasted on me. But I'm really excited for Ponting Wines to change my mind.
So, Ricky, this isn't a Tasmanian winery, though, is it?
No, we actually haven't got our own winery as such just yet. We're definitely on the lookout. We've got 6 or 7 different wines in the range now. 2 of those wines are from Tasmania, so we've got a Pinot Noir called the Mowbray Boy and a Pioneer Chardonnay that both come out of Tasmania. But the majority of our wine comes from South Australia, so the McLaren Vale, Barossa, Langbourne Creek sort of regions are where most of our wine comes from. And Ben Riggs is our winemaker, who's world renowned for his winemaking abilities. He's based in McLaren Vale, so we're sourcing grapes from what we believe some of the most premium wine regions in Australia, and doing our best to produce premium wines that fit into that sort of lower price bracket of the premium wine range. So. Yes, as I said, so far so good. It's been a very, very enjoyable journey so far.
You're quite the spokesmodel for it, I've got to say.
Mate,
we're convinced.
She's got me.
And people can taste it because you're coming to the Good Food and Wine Show this weekend as well, so people can get their own taste of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we've got our own stand set up there. I actually won't be able to make it across now, unfortunately. I've had a needle in a nerve jammed in my spine, so I had a needle in my spine last Thursday. So I'm struggling to walk at the moment, so I won't be on a plane 4 hours to get over there. But no, we'll have a great presence there. We've been at the Melbourne and Sydney shows over the last couple of months. So anyone that wants to come along, pop down and absolutely get to sample the whole range of Ponting wines.
Oh mate, we're all sold on the wine.
Yes,
let's go back to
your spine. Back to your back.
Are you joking? You've had a what shoved in where?
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of old age and probably what I did in a previous life, where I spent most of my life sort of crouched over a cricket bat or crouched over, standing at slip. But I've got a trapped nerve in my L5 joint. That won't mean anything to anybody, but I had to have quite a nasty little injection in there the other day to try and free it all up. So I've been struggling to get around for the last few days.
Okay, as a professional sports person, is that the worst place you've had a needle?
That's a really good question. I've had plenty of them in my time. No, actually, you know what? I don't think it was. It was a very unpleasant feeling the needle actually scraping across the top of the nerve, shooting like an electric shock down the outside of your right leg. But
yeah, good times.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But
it's not the worst.
Have you had many groin
down the end of your little finger? So you point your little finger up in the air and straight down the end of your little finger, where all your nerve endings are. Trust me, that's not a lot of fun.
So what? So they stick the needle straight down the length of your finger.
straight down the end of your finger. Straight basically just straight. Well, I'd broken my finger the game before, and I couldn't play without having my finger without having a block. And the first block that I tried to have didn't work. And I said to the doc, "That's not working." So he said, "Well, grab that piece of wood there, bite onto it really hard. This is going to be quite unpleasant."
So is this in the rooms before the game?
Yeah, in the rooms.
Is this
about
cricket or the saw film?
Yeah, it's about half an hour before I was waiting to bat. I was sitting there, the openers had gone out, and these the finger blocks only usually last about 2 hours. So I had to make sure as soon as the openers went out that I had the injection done, and the first one, as I said, didn't work. So it was bite the bullet and go again.
How deep did he go in?
Well, just as far as you can until you hit the bone. There's not far to go.
Ricky.
You know what? That my question and the way you answered that could be taken out of context.
Yes, it could. Yes. Ricky.
Wow, I thought you would have said it would have been a groiny injection, because Sean said he's had heaps of groiny injections.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had any. None of those, thankfully.
No osteitis pubis, that's what his was for.
I
mean, you say old age, you're 47, which in most people's world is not old at all, Ricky.
You're probably right. I should say middle age rather than in my old age. No, but I can tell you that these Melbourne winters, you tend to find your little aches and pains more and more every year. That's for sure. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, we're sold on the wine.
Yes,
that's fantastic. Your injection situation. Run for your life.
Traumatic.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We spoke to Ricky Ponting a few minutes ago, and we thought he was saying the reason he can't come to Perth for the Good Food and Wine show is because he's just had an injection in his back, and he described that for us. And then Nathan said, "Is that the worst one you've had?" And then he described getting an injection down the length of your little finger. So imagine that, like going in the top.
And I said, how far in do they go? And he goes, they stop when they hit bone.
And that was so he could play cricket that day.
Wondering if you've had a horrific injection. Hello, Ben.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Ben. Talk us through it.
So bad.
We're biting down on a piece of wood now.
Oh, my God, Ben.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I might have been about 14 or 15, I was diagnosed with a brain problem.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I had to have this big bracket bolted into my head.
Holy
So
crap.
I had to have 4 needles at like each corner of my head.
Oh, the halo thing. You had the halo thing on your head.
Yeah.
That literally screws into your skull.
Yeah. They were bolted onto my my skull. Yeah. And when they put the needles in, they were like sort of pushed it in, and then they were like wriggling it around to get all the. Yeah, it wasn't quite nice.
It wasn't. Oh, that's weird.
What part?
How long did you have to have that for, Ben?
Well, get this right. So I had it on. I got it put on at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to have it on for I think it was 6 hours to make sure I was comfortable, and then I was going into the machine.
Yes.
And then my turn come for the machine, and the machine broke. So I was there all day with it bolted to my head for absolutely no reason.
Oh, so then they just took it off afterwards because they couldn't use the machine.
Yeah. Well, they just took it off, and then they had to let the numbing stuff or whatever it was go away, and then I went home.
Did you have holes in your head?
I still have like scars there, but they're so small you wouldn't even see them.
Okay, did they go back in once the machine was working? You had to do it again.
So when I went back in, they designed a better design thingy, and it was like a ski mask that was molded to your face.
Okay, well that is better.
And how many screws was that screwed into your head with? None?
No, that was none. That's
a much better option.
Yeah, it was a better option.
Is your head okay now, Ben?
I'm still in and out. They've just said that I have to go back for another checkup, but other than that, it's pretty okay.
That's an amazing story. And also,
Ben, can I ask, if it's not too intrusive, what was your brain injury?
It's called an AVM, so an arterial venous malformation.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Heaps of like blood vessels were twisted and tangled, and it was starting to hemorrhage and that. So
that is full on. So did you have to have surgery on it or not?
No. So that bracket was because I had radiation shot into my head, and the radiation burnt it off because I was too young to have surgery.
Amazing.
Yeah. So.
Dude.
Just it's amazing what they can do, isn't it? That's incredible.
Yeah. It would have been amazing if they come with that ski mask a little bit earlier.
just a couple of days earlier. Thanks, Ben. Marinda, hello.
Hi, how you going?
Okay, Marinda. We are talking about needles. What have you got for us?
Well, I have a massive needle phobia as well. So the worst thing was 2 weeks ago I had a little growth on my thyroid and I had to make sure it was either benign or cancerous, which was a bit scary.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to me, I had 4 needles in my throat.
So just going in through the front of your throat.
Front of my throat.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So not one biopsy. I know, seriously, not one needle, but 4.
So not down your throat.
No, through your neck.
Through your neck into your throat. Through your neck into your throat.
Yes.
Yeah, your thyroid's about there, Nathan.
Through your neck into your throat.
I believe that is where my thyroid unfortunately was, and that's where they had to go.
Yep.
So
but were you knocked out for it?
No.
Okay.
No.
No,
you idiot.
It was just the way you said, unbeknownst to me, they did 4.
No, I know, but like...
Well, no, because when I went in, I knew they were going to do 4, but at the time when the doctor said you're going in for a biopsy,
okay,
I just
gotcha.
thought it was
Can I just tell you, if
and
someone
I didn't realise why you need to have... Go on, sorry.
if someone is coming at me with 4 needles into my throat, you knock me out. You get a frying
That's right.
pan and you do it cartoon style. You knock me
At least a
out.
Valium, something.
So was that horrendous, Mirinda?
Yes, and the nurse said, I will go and get the doctor. And I said, well, if he's not here in 5 seconds, I will be out of here because I hate needles. Because she then told me it was 4 needles. I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. Sweetheart, that's not the time you want to find out either.
You know what? 1 needle going into your throat
Yes, is a lot.
Is a lot.
Mm. Thank you, Mirinda.
But then again, you don't tell someone there's 4, do you?
No.
You just tell them there's 1 and then you just
And
spring the other 3 on them.
No, it's still the same one. Michelle, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mish.
All right, talk to us about the needles you've had.
Oh, look, I've had plenty, but the worst one would have to be the cortisone injection into my jaw muscles, or jaw joint, sorry.
Why?
Okay, so your TMJ up sort of near your ear.
That's it, exactly. And yeah, I'd had a few of them, and then this one time he decided to do it without anaesthetic. Oh, Lordy. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever had cortisone injections before, but they sting. Yeah, they sting like a bee.
Yeah, and they do normally give you a local.
So everyone, this is just below your temple sort of thing,
Yeah.
you know? So why are you getting injections there? What's happening?
TMG, it's basically your jaw lock, so the cortisone's supposed to help.
It's quite a,
relax
and then
it.
it's quite a common
relaxes you,
side
so
of
it's a locked
problem.
jaw,
And it reduces inflammation in the jaw as
Oh,
well.
my God. How many times have you done this?
I had it 3 times, and then they did it the 4th time without the local anaesthetic, and I was not happy.
How big's the needle? Is it just a normal needle? Because it feels like it feels like it's a big needle thing.
Well,
is it a big needle thing?
It's big enough.
Not tiny, I can tell you.
Oh, Michelle.
Is your jaw okay now, Michelle? Like, did it at least work?
Not really, no.
Mate, you know what? I'd be blending everything with a little straw if that had to be the case.
Exactly.
Roast dinner, no worries, blend it up.
I'll just never open my mouth again. No problem. Thanks, Michelle.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.